Hello and welcome to my kitchen. It's Wednesday and here I am for some more healthy recipes for you. I am Julie Brinkley, otherwise known as Motivation with Brink, and let's get started. We've got a lot to cover today and I'm super excited to kick off for you guys a really special November. This November, for the next 4 weeks, actually, we'll keep doing it all the way through December, you know that. But for November, we want to focus on how do we navigate the holidays. And I think I'm going to have some pretty helpful hints for you. So you'll want to see every single Wednesday Cooking Live to not miss out. Today, we're going to start off, like, where do you start with a Thanksgiving meal? Side dishes, right? That's actually where we get in trouble, because if you think about it, turkey, I mean, come on. Even if you use a deep fried turkey, that protein is a super lean protein. You're in good shape, right? It's those other things that get in the way, those side dishes. So I'm hoping to bring to you today a couple that are gonna fill the gap of maybe an old traditional side dish with something that's still really indulgent, serves the purpose for a great side dish, but yet takes away some of the guilt and some of the extra carbs and calories that we can save and put somewhere else, right? So today we're gonna look at green bean casserole, and we're gonna do a broccoli cheese dish that might take the place of that old favorite, the broccoli rice casserole, okay, with like a can of everything in it. So we're gonna take that up a notch. So, of course, welcome. Let me know when you're here. I want to know where you're watching from, and of course, it wouldn't be very fair if I just made side dishes today, because I do have my captain home. So I am going to throw together a really quick and simple lunch, and you know, it works out great for us here in Texas. We kind of had a cold snap. Hello, was it really ready? Wasn't ready. I know we should be, but I'm not ready. So today, this Cajun shrimp rice bowl is gonna be a great warm lunch for us to have. So let's go ahead and get started. And what I'm gonna start with is the green beans. Now, in the recipe, you'll see, I think it states frozen green beans. I use fresh green beans. I just microwaved them in the bag that was provided. And to go ahead and get us started, this green bean casserole is not going to include any can of cream of anything, okay? We're going to use wonderful ingredients like Greek yogurt and a little bit of light sour cream to give us that same indulgent, rich flavor that we kind of look forward to when we think about those type of side dishes, the gooey ones. That's what I have to say, the gooey ones, okay? So I'm gonna get a skillet on with a medium-high heat. We're gonna add a couple, I think, let's see, 2 cups of mushrooms. We're just gonna use pre-cut mushrooms. Now keep in mind, if mushrooms aren't your thing, that's fine. This is gonna give it, though, it's gonna take on the flavors that we're adding into these green beans, but it's also gonna give it more substantial, a more substantial serving size. So we want to be able to add a little bit of garlic. And to that, I'm going to go ahead and throw in these onions. And of course, I'm using green onions. You guys know how we feel about yellow onion when you're on plan. Too many sugars when those things caramelize. I've just used a little bit of olive oil spray. I'm going to set that right there. I'm going to need that over here in just a minute. And let's go ahead and add our garlic to that. So if you get a chance, in the chat, if you're watching, let me know, what are your favorite go-to side dishes? I want to know, because here's what I want to talk about today. The side dishes that I'm thinking are too indulgent and too heavy in carbs and calories, guys, sometimes we're going to have those. Like if you're on a 5-in-1 plan, I have to say this to you today, you'll have them again. This holiday, if you're on plan and you want to stay on plan, you're in the middle of your journey and there is nothing going to throw you off, then I want to tell you, you're going to have those things again. They're not going to go away. Sometimes we get that mentality that, oh my gosh, I've got to have that this time or I'll be so sad forever. You won't be, okay? So let's go ahead and get these mushrooms sauteing with the garlic and onion. Now that I don't have, I'm going to drizzle just I did spritz the pan just a little bit with a little cooking spray, but let's use a little bit of healthy fat. Ooh, it was out there. I'm going to set that out. And again, guys, anytime you start a dish like this, you know it's going to be good. The good homemade, nothing out of a can, okay? Let's think about that. Nothing out of a can. We're going to let those start cooking. Let me make sure. I'm going to switch gears to my other one. We're going to let that keep going, okay? Now, the next dish. I don't know if you guys feel the same way I do, but I grew up on cream of mushroom soup, cream of chicken soup, maybe some minute rice, frozen broccoli, okay? And you throw it together in a casserole, and it makes this ooey gooey. Oh, add some cheese in there probably. And it was probably Velveeta, just saying. And the thing is, there's nothing wrong with those dishes now and again. But like I said, if you are on a 5-in-1 plan, if you're on my weight loss journey with me right now, and you've worked really hard, let's don't allow these holidays to throw us completely off. When we can maybe find great substitutions for those dishes, okay? The other thing I love thinking about is making these changes now. It teaches your family a different way, so they don't have to grow up craving those really indulgent carb-loaded things. So our next step is going to be this broccoli dish, and I just use fresh broccoli. You can use frozen broccoli with this. It would be fine to use frozen broccoli. We're going to take this and just spray just a little bit. Again, I just use the olive oil spray, inexpensive one. And to this, because guys, it is, and it's kind of solidified again, this is my butter. We're going to add a half a tablespoon of butter to this broccoli. Again, butter is not an enemy. We just have to count it for what it is. And in this application, it is our healthy fat. And we're going to add a little bit of Mrs. Dash. I love this one. Mrs. Dash is a great addition to your pantry. And give it a little bit of flavor there. And we're going to use 1/4 cup of egg beaters. That's just egg substitute. If you, I believe you could switch that out for a regular egg. I think that is probably, that 1/4 cup, if I looked on the package, it probably would be the equivalent of 1 egg. I'd have to double check that. Now here's the other fun thing we're gonna add today. Not only is this gonna make it super creamy, but this is gonna add a little bit of extra healthy protein, okay? A good lean protein. This is a 2% milk cottage cheese. Let me get me a smaller spoon. Again, here's my disclaimer time. I am not a professional chef. I'm just a home cook and a weight loss coach. Motivational cheerleader is what I like to think of it. But so mistakes are made. Follow the recipe. Message me if you have any questions about these recipes. I would love to help you with them. But this is a nice little hack. Instead of buying a large thing of cottage cheese that you might not get through and that waste in the fridge, these are exactly 4 ounces. This comes in a pack of 4. This also makes a great lean ingredient during the day. A little tuna, a little cucumber, you're good to go. We're gonna add that in. Now again, if you were doing a frozen broccoli, you wanna go ahead and have that thawed and some of the moisture taken out of it. So we're gonna take, oops, I forgot, I have a couple big pieces in here. I like to just kind of wedge these spears up so we don't get huge pieces. And I forgot, there were a couple I threw in there. And we're just gonna mix this together. I did have my butter melted. You'd wanna be sure and do that. Okay, one more thing. Nice and toasty. Even just that right there, guys, smells so good already. here's the thing. If you make these kind of changes for these two side dishes, guys, nobody will ever know the difference for your family. They're gonna be, hey, there's the green beans, there's the broccoli, let's go for it. We're gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper to this broccoli dish and then pour it straight in our casserole dish. Again, this is what the holidays are about, right? Like putting together as many side dishes as you can think of because you want people to have variety and you want them to have healthy food, right? And so even if you aren't, okay, here's the deal. This is what I challenge you for. Maybe you aren't on a plan. Maybe you don't need to lose 1 single pound, which is awesome for you. But I challenge you this holiday, the chances are great that someone coming to your house is on a plan and might need a little bit of help making better decisions. We're gonna throw this in the oven for a first, I think the first time is 40 minutes, okay? So obviously you guys are gonna see this side dish in a little while. Now I may double check that in just a few minutes and go ahead and cover it with foil just to give it some steaming action in there. 40 minutes with the egg, with the cottage cheese. I'm gonna let that cook. We're gonna remove it and put an additional half cup of a low-fat cheese blend. Just the 2% is fine, not a fat-free, and just 2 tablespoons of Parmesan on the top. Remove the foil and cook it again for another 20 minutes. Stay tuned, guys. This afternoon, you're gonna see the finished product of this amazing side dish, and I think it might be your new favorite. Go ahead and mark off the grocery list the green bean casserole. I mean, not the green bean casserole, the broccoli rice casserole. This is gonna take the place of that, okay? So let's move on back to our green beans. We honestly, let me just tell you, I think the recipe says put it in a bowl, okay? So here I am, I'm gonna add my green beans to the bowl. I've already cooked them in the microwave, just that quick microwave to steam them. Most of the packages, unless you buy them in bulk, most of the packages have directions, puncture a hole in it, and then you go ahead and cook it in the microwave. So these are ready to go, just a little al dente. I would have probably thrown the whole thing in the skillet, but I thought, you know what, the recipe says put it in a bowl, so I'm gonna try to follow the recipe. So I'm gonna put in the garlic, onion, and mushrooms. Oh my goodness, guys, right here. This is what it's all about. Good food made healthy. You cannot not love this, okay? Now here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna throw all the other ingredients in here, aren't we? Let's see. I've made a different one of this. I like this one. A couple things, guys. Light sour cream. I already mentioned this. We're gonna use some light sour cream to get us, hanging on the, pause. Hanging on the hallway. I did mention that I'm a home cook, right? So we're gonna add the light sour cream. We are gonna add, I'm pretty sure we're adding all of the things. Hang on, let me just double check. I won't call out the friend that just showed up at my house. I should have had something out ready, but I didn't. So, Parmesan cheese. I think we have a half a cup. No, half a cup of that same low fat, okay, 2%, something like that, cheddar cheese. Oh, and back to my favorite. This is, again, convenience for the win, guys. Keep these in your fridge. This one just so happens to be the nonfat Greek yogurt, the 0% milk fat. Great source of protein. Kills 2 birds with 1 stone because we get this creamy mixture. And no cans were used in the making of this recipe. So Greek yogurt's gonna take the place. And for those of you that are on 5-in-1, it does create about 1/4 of your lean, 1/4 of your protein is coming from this vegetable side dish. So keep that in mind when you're adding a protein to this. We are gonna snag just a little bit of cornstarch in here, and that's just gonna give it kind of a thickening agent, okay? That is accounted for. And this is a little trick. This is stevia, okay, monk fruit. I'll be honest with you, when I have a dish like this, I sometimes don't add this. There's another dish I use that calls for just a little bit of a sweet kick. It's half of a stevia packet, and we're gonna go ahead and add that in there this time. I'll let you know what I think about that, because typically I leave it out. But again, I just thought, you know what? Let's just stick right to the recipe. So we're gonna mix this all together, guys. Again, don't tell anybody. I made some diet green bean casserole for you. Just serve it. Guys, this is gonna be delicious. And again, if you're on 5-in-1, be sure to note both of these dishes have a little bit of protein. Let me tell you. Yeah, both of these have a little bit of protein in it. So you wanna be sure and be mindful of that you are lessening your protein that you are using with this. Guys, this may be my new favorite. Of course, we're gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper, especially pepper to this green bean casserole. I'm really a black pepper fan, so I wanna be sure and add that. Again, just another casserole dish. We're gonna add a little bit of cooking spray just to make sure we don't make a big mess. And now I'm gonna put this right into here. Not to mention easy, guys, but I just wiped out 2 side dishes like a Thanksgiving pro. So these are gonna be some great ones to add to your list. And like I said, no reason to make this about diet food. This is just good, clean cooking. And look, how yummy and goodness is this. This has the cheese mixed in there. I think I should have reserved just a little bit of cheese to go on the top, so I may reserve an extra tablespoon. After this cooks down for a little bit, I'll add a little bit of cheese on top just to give it a little bit of a coating. And this one is gonna go into the oven for 30 to 35 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and add this in. Next up, I told you, we still gotta eat for lunch, right? So I wanna show you something really quick and easy. It was brought up to me again this week, not by anyone who was being hateful. They're actually on plan, but just reminding me that, you know, sometimes people don't cook from recipes. Sometimes people aren't searching our community support page for the healthiest food they can find to eat, right? And they're not cooking at home as often as they should be, okay? So putting together a lean and green meal can sometimes seem challenging, but I wanna take some of the guesswork out for you. Now, I almost left it all in packages because I thought, let me just show them. This is how we could throw together a healthy lean and green meal with just things you might have around the house. Now, we're gonna toss this. This is gonna be that Cajun rice bowl I told you about. This is shrimp. Now, shrimp is amazing on plan because it's the leanest protein. The nice thing about leanest protein is you get the most ounces. So it feels good, it's indulgent, it's very satisfying. And with that, you also need healthy fats to balance that out. So today, our healthy fat that we're gonna use is butter. Butter is a healthy fat in moderation. Like, it's not a stick of butter. A healthy fat of butter, I believe, is half a tablespoon. So we're gonna get these going. And the first thing I wanna do, in order to kind of help the healthy fat situation, I'm actually gonna air fry these shrimp and toss in just a little bit. I saved the package out so you could see this turkey sausage. Now, I'm gonna come to you straight. Is this the leanest type of protein you can find? Absolutely not. It's sausage. It's manufactured in a casing. However, on the occasion, it's really nice to add this punch of flavor, this salty taste of a sausage that kind of is better than the old sausage you might have been adding to a Cajun dish. So this is a great solution. We're gonna actually half and half. We're gonna use half of our protein from this turkey sausage and half of it from the shrimp. And I'm gonna cook it straight in the air fryer. And I'm gonna toss the sausage right in. I wish we could have started the clock because this is gonna be one of your favorite quick and easy meals. Now, what I would do also with this as a side dish, I love this dish with roasted broccoli. So I'm not gonna make roasted broccoli today. I have a broccoli side dish in the oven right now. So I may eat some of that with it, but roasted broccoli would be a great additional green with this dish. I'm gonna use Old Bay seasoning. Old Bay, you can also use like a Creole seasoning. Of course, this is to taste. I think as a condiment, you guys on 5-in-1, you know that all things count. So you need to check your condiment guide. And we're gonna stick this right into the air fryer. Okay, that's going. Now, here's the easy part. We're gonna take microwaved cauliflower rice, okay? And we are gonna pan sear it. You know how I feel about this. I don't want it mushy, right? If you guys don't like cauliflower rice, maybe it's because you're eating it like this. Don't do that, okay? We're gonna put this in and use our healthy fat, the butter, to kind of saute that up. I'm gonna set that to the side. And I think the recipe says red bell peppers. Of course, I think the red bell peppers are really pretty. In this dish, it just so happened, guys, I pulled the last bit of my own bell peppers out of the garden. And I just couldn't bring myself to buying a red bell pepper today when I thought, man, if I don't use those up, like I won't. And it was such a gift that I pulled them yesterday. I was like, oh my goodness, who knew in November we'd still be getting bell peppers off the bush out there. Oops. So I'm taking this bell pepper. You take a red bell pepper if you prefer. Other veggie could be added in here as well. This one just gives us that nice Cajun flavor. So we're gonna take just a minute to do that. I wanna also take a second to kind of give you a teaser for next week. Next week, we are going to be thinking about huffing for the stuffing. Who doesn't love Thanksgiving stuffing? Or in my family, we call it dressing. And really, if I'm being real, we say dressing. I mean, like, it's the best cornbread dressing ever. But let's be realistic, okay? A couple things I will tell you about that. For me, I would much rather substitute all these other healthy side dishes that I'm going to bring to you this month and maybe still compromise and have a small planned portion of wonderful cornbread dressing that I hope my sister is making. She's on here. There's your call out. Yep, her hand's raised. Maybe that means she's going to. That's one of my favorite side dishes. So here's the thing, guys. Do we have to be perfect? Do we have to take away all the fun and all the, let's just be honest, the emotional part of eating? Because that dressing reminds me of Mamaw. And so that's a special time for us. When there's a meal like a Thanksgiving meal, it almost wouldn't seem complete, right? So that may be the place where I make an exception and decide what am I gonna allow myself. I'm not gonna go off the rails. I'm gonna have a half a cup or a quarter cup of the dressing and we're gonna call it done. It was a plan, it wasn't a cheat. I stopped, challenged, and I chose to have the dressing, okay? There's a plan, okay? So I encourage you today, if this spurs you to start thinking, where could I make some small micro habits of change? Small changes, okay? That's where the magic happens. We're gonna just use a little bit of Spritz and get these bell peppers sauteing first. Again, guys, there's no recipe right now. Oh, I do want to add my healthy fat to those bell peppers. So I kind of messed up by adding that olive oil spray, but that's okay. Slipped my mind. We're gonna let that get sauteed up. We're gonna add a couple cups of our riced cauliflower. I want this to kind of start cooking a little bit. The cauliflower rice is cooked, okay? So we're gonna just saute up your bell peppers. I'm ready to throw in the cauliflower rice in just a minute. To that, I'm gonna add just a little bit because I just really want the red, and since we didn't do red bell pepper, I'm gonna add a little quarter cup of a fire roasted diced tomato to that dish. It's just gonna kind of bring together that cauliflower rice and almost give it the flavor of like a dirty rice. And then of course our shrimp and sausage mixture is in the air fryer, and that has the Old Bay seasoning. So that's gonna also give us a punch. So you control the heat there, okay? If you like it spicy, then load up this cauliflower rice with a little bit more Old Bay seasoning. I may choose to have the Old Bay out for Dana to add a little bit extra, but I think I'm gonna wait because I went pretty heavy on the shrimp. So we're gonna let those get started. We're gonna add in our cauliflower rice. And you know how I feel about it. I really want that rice to cook. I want to get nice seared edges. There's our rice. We could add Old Bay here. I'm gonna let that continue to cook. I'll add my tomatoes. I do want to tell you one more thing before I let you go. Again, look forward all this month. We're gonna come to you every single day, every single Wednesday, with not just Thanksgiving hacks, but of course, some tried and true favorites. We're also gonna touch base on the emotional side of eating and what that looks like. I have my little schedule. Something I wanna talk to you about, and I mentioned this earlier, picking your battles. I just told you, I'm not gonna pick my battle with that mamaw dressing, okay? The cornbread dressing. That's not going to be part of my battle. But by making other substitutions, like this green bean casserole, maybe other roasted vegetables instead of some of the other options. Next week, be ready. Next week is cauliflower stuffing, but we're also going to look at mac and cheese. Guys, we're going to bring a mac and cheese that's going to just change the game for you. I have to remind you, there's 59 days left of 2021. 59 days, okay? Think about it for a minute. Thanksgiving, okay? We'll just take that one. Okay, you have it. Christmas Eve. Let's go ahead, wait, before Thanksgiving, say there's a holiday party, okay? Somebody's getting together and having a party. So there's a party. Christmas Eve. Christmas Day, because in the Brinkley house, we really like a little Christmas brunch. There's 4. How about New Year's Eve? How about you are super social, way more social than the Brinkley household? Let's throw in 4 more holiday parties. If I did my math right, guys, you still have 50 days to make progress. So why are you throwing it away? Because of the holidays. Did you know, and this was today, actually it was on the Today Show, part of Today talking about it, but most weight gain happens the 10 days after the holiday. 10 days after Christmas, between Christmas and the New Year. That's where weight gain catches up with us. Do you want to know why? Because maybe it's just life has happened. Even if you've tried to be good right up until Christmas, and then things get crazy. What happens? You think, New Year's is right here. Let's just call the whole thing off. We'll start again with our New Year's resolutions, right? Guys, don't let those 10 days slip up on you, okay? 50 days to make progress. Micro habits, little things at a time. Maybe it's just remembering I've got to have my water 64 ounces every single day. Guys, think about the things you can do. What micro habits can you do? The other thing real quick about holiday and indulgent dishes. I revealed something really personal to you about my affection of cornbread dressing. But guess what? When I was on 5-in-1, when I was on my weight loss journey, I didn't have the dressing. Okay? You know why? Because I knew it wasn't going anywhere. There's going to be another Thanksgiving, maybe even an Easter, where that dressing would pop back up again. And I wasn't in the middle of my journey. I was in maintenance then, and I have a better view of food. So don't get hung up on food. It's going to be there again. I hope by the end of this month you have a whole shopping list of new recipes to add to your holiday favorites. Now, I want to show you. You can see my rice is getting just toasty brown. I wanted to cook a little bit before I add in those tomatoes. Oh, you could smell this. I would probably go ahead and add a little bit of that Old Bay seasoning here. Boom. Lunch. Cajun rice bowl. Done. Guys, all of these things could have been on your shelf or in your kitchen. Quick and easy, lean and green. Don't reinvent the wheel. Keep it simple. I hope that you come back next week. Until then, be nice.